Are we good? We on? I always gotta set up this with my phone. I need to be going live on my desktop. Well, not desktop, my laptop. But my internet connection outside of my phone is a little wonky. I think we'd get a lot of lag. I was like, oh, let me make sure that I can see comments. Uh, okay. Yeah, I think we're good to go. I can see. I can see. Hopefully, you guys can see me. All right. Nobody on here yet. But in case you're in case you are re-watching this live after the fact, this is the Israelite in America. And guys, that's not even laughing. I shouldn't be laughing. This is not going to be a very long live. Uh, this is going to be rather informal. I don't know about a rant. I won't say it's a rant, but I just wanted to come on here and excuse me, just kind of I don't know express, I guess, in light of some recent news I've come across. Now, one of these stories I heard about a few days ago. So it's a few days old, and then another is a couple days old, but I think I saw it a bit more recently. And as the title of the video, the live suggests, guys, we are 100%. We are truly in the lands of our enemies. Um, when the Most High said he was going to scatter us, and we were going to be we were going to be in the lands of our enemies, and we would be, oh man, that wording in Deuteronomy, crushed and oppressed always until He delivers us. That's exactly what He meant, and that is exactly what's happening. And I'm referring to specifically. I mean, there's so many things as you guys know, but right now I'm specifically referring to two stories that came up in my feed and that I came across. One specifically, hi to you who came on the live. I see you jumped in there. Um, one of those. I apologize. I mentioned earlier that I had to that I was putting my son to bed, so I thought he was going to sleep, but he might not. So another reason to hurry. Um, but the stories I'm referring to, one, I'll start with the older one first. One story is has to do with a police killing in Colorado, happened in 2019, and that's the story of Elijah McClain. Now, for those of you that don't know, I'll go over it very quickly before I move to the next story. There's, like I said, two things I'm expressing my displeasure, my feelings. The land of our the curses of being in the land of our captivity. For those of you that don't know about Elijah McClain, I'll go through really quick. He was a young black man who was walking to a convenience store at night, walking while black, as it were. And he is an innocent man, didn't do anything wrong. Not that that matters. But he was walking to a convenience store to buy some iced tea, I think it was. And some white man saw him. And Elijah McQueen was wearing a ski mask, by the way. It was cold in Colorado at this time. So all this context. It was cold in Colorado at the time. Elijah McClain was wearing a mask as he went out in the cold to walk to the convenience store to get some iced tea. And some white man called the police and said, "Hey, there's a suspicious-looking black male walking down the street. I don't know if he's doing anything wrong. I don't know if he's just minding his own business. But yeah, I just thought I'd call." Now, you guys will know. So many people will say, when you say, "Hey, this happens to us on a daily basis. This happens all the time." People, "Oh no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You guys are looking for racism. We're looking for this or that where it doesn't exist. It doesn't happen. That doesn't happen." We know that's not true. So Elijah McClain, this guy, the white man called the police on him. The police, long story short, the police came. Elijah McClain was like, didn't know what was going on. What's happening? What did I do? What are you guys arresting me for? The cops put hands on him, wrestled him to the ground, brutalized him, knees on his head, his I think his back, his neck. There was multiple officers involved. Now Elijah McClain had some breathing issue. I forget if it was asthma or if it was some other kind of respiratory issue that he had, but Elijah McClain had some kind of medical condition, if you will. And so the officers put him on the ground, brutalized him. He's throwing up in his ski mask. He wasn't fighting back. He was not fighting back. I don't want to get off. He was not fighting back. Um, the officers continue to restrain him and brutalize him for no reason. He's throwing up in his ski mask. They hear him throwing up. They don't care. The paramedics come, and then the officers say, "Hey, inject this sick and obviously unable to fight man, this man who's obviously unable to fight, obviously weak, obviously handcuffed and restrained. Inject him with ketamine." The paramedics foolishly inject him with ketamine. He dies, and that's essentially it. Elijah McClain. Hello to all of you guys on the live. Hopefully you can hear me. If you cannot hear me, let me know. Type 1 if you can hear me. 2 if you cannot hear me, or I'll take your silence to mean that you can hear me. So anyway, Elijah McClain dies, and that, like I said, that was in 2019. So the news I got recently was that the officer that was responsible, because the officers were responsible for his death, they got off. Right? No fuss, no muss, no no punishment, no jail time. In other words, the usual same old story. And I guess this one disturbed me a bit more than some of the other stories, because it's just one of those completely black and white, cut and dry situations where he was so obviously murdered, and it was so obviously unnecessary. And you can look at the body cam footage, and it's just murder, and yet the people, the system, the justice system of this country continues to routinely value our lives, the lives of Black Israelites, as nothing. It doesn't matter. We're murdered. It only matters when they want to quote faulty statistics about so-called black on black crime. That's the only time our lives matter. So that was one story. That, the officer got off. The paramedics are going to stand trial. The ones that injected him with ketamine, they haven't stood trial yet, or if they did, their trial's just starting. The other officers, all the other officers involved, I think it was 3 total. One completely got off as well, and then I think one maybe got like some very light charge that it just is going to include maybe probation, if that. And he's out walking. They're all out walking free. So that was the first thing. Excuse me. And then the next thing that was on my mind that I'm expressing about on this live is the Montgomery Brawl. I don't know if you guys, I know you guys know about the Montgomery Brawl. Everyone knew about the Montgomery Brawl, so I don't even have to. I know you guys know about the Montgomery Brawl. But I came across the story that the black man, the Israelite man that was jumped, who the captain who was or the dock security guard, whichever is his more correct title, that was doing his job. They always say, "Oh, go get a job, go work for a living, oh, do something." Who was doing his job, keeping the dock, and who was jumped by, like, I don't know how many white guys jumped him. I think 3 or 4 at once. He was defending himself, and then other brothers had to come in and come to his defense. Yeah, that guy who was jumped just is getting charged with assault. Yeah, the guy that was jumped and assaulted and attacked is getting charged with assault. So if you, as a black person in this country, if you were doing nothing wrong, you could die. If you were doing nothing wrong, you were totally innocent, and everyone after the fact has to acknowledge, yeah, he was innocent, she was innocent, whatever. You're still dead. You could still very, very likely be killed. Police or no police. The police just heightened the situation. Okay, Elijah McClain murdered, and the people that killed him scot-free, clean, walking around. The brother that got jumped during the Montgomery Brawl, he's charged with assault. He gets charged. So if you're doing nothing while black in this country, if you try to defend yourself in this country, you are still the criminal. You. Thou shalt only be oppressed and crushed forevermore. That's what the scripture says. Those are the curses that come down on us. Thou shalt be only oppressed and cursed evermore. And I see it. I see it. It's so clear. You won't. No one will. No, none of the pundits that claim to stand for freedom and justice and all this will talk about these things. You won't hear Candace Owens talking about this, the Montgomery Raw, the guy that was charged wrongly. You won't hear her talk about Elijah McClain, all these other people that claim to care about freedom and our people specifically. You're not going to hear any of this, any of them say anything about this. And it's so disheartening sometimes. I'm no stranger to it. Okay. It's not unexpected. It's not unexpected, but it is nevertheless, it's no less upsetting because it's continual. It happens again and again and again. And then anytime that we say, hey, yo, it's happening, this is happening, the voices are, no, it's not. It's not happening. Well, you guys are your own worst problem. The crime is coming from you guys. You guys need to fix your communities. You guys need to this. You guys need to that. This story. I don't know if some of you guys are aware. There was this white gentleman the other day. He was driving along the highway, and some protesters were in the highway, and exercising their First Amendment rights, their right to protest, right? They were blocking the highway. They weren't attacking cars. They weren't throwing Molotov cocktails or anything like that. They weren't, flipping cars over the freeway. They were just protesting, granted in the middle of the street. They were protesting. They weren't hurting anyone. This white man gets out of his car, argues with them briefly, and then just deletes one of them, takes out a gun and deletes one, just like that, on film and everything. Cops arrive. This man gets arrested, doesn't even get cuffed. He's alive. And guess what? A lot of these people that I've just mentioned that claim to stand for all this justice and freedom and all this other stuff were praising this white man who had just deleted somebody because he was annoyed that they were protesting. He was annoyed that these people were exercising that First Amendment that so many people love to talk about, that freedom to protest, freedom to assemble that so many like to talk about. Why? Because he was white. Because he was European. We all know that if it was some Israelite out there who had gotten out of his car and deleted someone, pow, in cold blood because he was upset that they were protesting, it would be all over the news. They would be dragging all of us, not just the individual, because when unfortunate things happen, they don't just drag the individual. They use the individual to drag all of our people through the mud. It happens again and again. It's never an individual. When it's bad, it's the group. It's the group. When it's a good thing, I shared a link to a video on my Twitter, the Israelite. I'm on Twitter. Don't post a whole lot, but I'm on Twitter. I posted a link to a video of a black father stopping a mugger who was pointing a gun at him and his son. The man was holding his baby in one arm. He had a cigarette in his mouth, and he was in a convenience store. A guy comes in with a gun, and this black father jukes the gun, like just like that, saves his son, and deters the mugger. No major accounts talking about that, but if they were, it would be the individual. Oh, this man is an example. If only more, blacks followed this man's example. It's the individual when it's something good. When it's something they perceive as bad, it's the group. It's the whole group. It's, why are those black people doing this? Oh, they always do this. Oh, it's always them. It's them again, isn't it? And it's not surprising, but man, it can grow to be disheartening. It can start to wear away at you when this is the narrative you're faced with. Not even the narrative, the reality of our situation, our predicament in the lands of our enemies. Because it's not like this for any other group of people. It's not like this for any other group. Not Not certainly not in America. We are the only ones that are treated like this, routinely killed wantonly for nothing, and they will always point to us as the criminal. We are the only group that gets charged for defending ourselves, doing our job and defending ourselves. The man at the I think Pick something. I forget the brother's last name. It's something like Picard Pick, um, something of that nature. You got to forgive me, man. I'm forgetting your name, but charged for defending himself because he got jumped and defended himself. The courts in Alabama was like, well, can't do that. You're being charged with assault. It's really sad. But again, to me, this is just a further proof of all these things we talk about here on this channel, all these things that other channels here on YouTube, other Israelite channels talk about when they reiterate that we are under the curses of Deuteronomy 28, for instance, and other places, and that it's not going to stop. That's the thing. It's not going to stop. It's not going to be broken until Yahweh sets these things right, until the Most High sets this whole thing straight, until he glories us, because he has to do it, not us. We're not going to do it. He has to do it until he gathers us, until he sets us on glory and provides the reparations that we leave out of here with great substance, until we're heading out and he makes us the head and not the tail. It's not going to stop. It's not going to end. And that, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, because when I think of that, it again, it's not unexpected, but it's disheartening to think, yeah, nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change until he changes it, until the Most High changes it. Nothing will change. We will continue to be murdered. We'll continue to be falsely accused, and we'll continue to be oppressed in every way, shape, or form, while everyone looks at us, looks in the eye, stabs us, and looks us in the eye and says, nothing's going on. What are you talking about? What do you mean you're being oppressed? What do you mean you're being, what? No, it's all a lie. It's you guys are your biggest problem, as they drive the knife in. It's disheartening. Yeah, that, and especially when it comes to police, this Elijah McClain thing, it's not the first, you guys know, it's not the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth time a story has gone like this, when they murdered an innocent black person and nothing's done. They get paid vacation and the black person is dead. Even if, the family sues and the family gets $1 million, $10 million, at the end of the day, you're still dead. The black man is still dead. The black woman is still dead. $10 million is not going to bring them back. It's the oppression. It's the continual oppression. Sad. It's really sad. But we're going to have to take heart. We're going to have to continue to take heart. We're going to have to stand and wait for our redemption to draw nigh, because if it doesn't draw nigh soon, we might find ourselves in an even more sticky predicament. We need to pray that our redemption draws nigh soon. But anyway, guys, thanks for dropping into the live. Like I said, it was going to be short and informal. Guess I'll pretty much end it here. This has been the Israelite in America. I pray for the peace of our people. Pray for the peace of our people, of Israel. Not that Israel. I mean Israel. Our redemption needs to draw nigh soon, or things are going to get even worse. This has been the Israelite in America. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.